The Call of Duty franchise has had several modes throughout the years. Some fan favorites the community can't go without, some that have been around long enough to become hated, and some that ran out of gas before they ever took off. But there's another category that doesn't get talked about enough. The modes that only appeared once, and then completely disappeared, and yet oddly, some of them were actually pretty good. So why did they never come back? Today we are going to dive into the shockingly extensive list of one-off Call of Duty modes that never made it into another title. Before we get started, there are some simple rules we need to set. The mode can only appear in one Call of Duty game. We are also going to be excluding any holiday events or LTMs because that list alone would be never ending. And some modes were also disqualified if they were simply renamed. Our first cancelled mode was released in 2010 and was the godfather of party modes in the franchise. Wager modes in Call of Duty Black Ops was a subsection of multiplayer game modes which the player would choose to play one of 4 party games. While these party games continued across several future Call of Duty titles, the style of the wager mode would not. In wager mode, you would select a tier of COD points, not these COD points, that you're willing to wager in a match in hopes of being one of the top 3 players in the game to earn your COD points back plus more. However, if you didn't place in the top 3, you would lose everything. Unlike modern COD points that can only be used for cosmetics, these were earned through gameplay and could be spent on attachments and perks. I am just happy Call of Duty did not bring these back with current day COD points, because if they did, this system would be very expensive. Turned would release with DLC 1 of Call of Duty Black Ops 2 in 2013 and put a twist on the famous multiplayer known as Infected. Turned would mix Infected and gun game with a zombies twist, where 4 players spawn in as zombies and search for a red perk bottle power-up that turns them human. Once one player becomes human, the game shifts. This is now a survival mission where the 3 other zombies are hunting them down. For every zombie the human kills, their weapon cycles between 6 different options. If a zombie kills the human, they become the human, and the cycle continues. Points are based on kills and time survived as the human, with the match lasting around 6 minutes. On paper, this is actually a really creative idea, but in reality, most players didn't want to be the zombie. So while it's unique, Turned never really caught on. Call of Duty Ghosts would bring us to our first standalone mode in this video. Extinction would release with Call of Duty Ghosts in November 5th of 2013 and would get additional maps with each DLC. When this mode launched, it was heavily criticized as a zombies knockoff, despite having several differences. Extinction is a first of its kind alien survival mode for the franchise. Players chose from different classes with unique abilities and loadout. The goal is to destroy the cryptid hives by drilling into them and defending against waves of enemies. Completing objectives, killing enemies, and finishing challenges rewards cash, which can be used to buy weapons and upgrade abilities. Players also earn skill points over time to further improve their loadouts. After all the hives are destroyed, a boss fight begins, followed by an escape sequence depending on the map. This made it feel more like a mission-based co-op experience rather than a traditional zombies experience. But here's the problem. This mode released when Black Ops 2 Zombies was still at its high. So instead of giving it a real chance, most players went back to zombies, which is why this mode was labeled dead on arrival by the community. And honestly, it's kind of unfair, because looking back, Extinction actually did a lot of things differently, and some of them went really well. Call of Duty Ghosts released another one-off mode at launch, and this one actually made it into competitive play. Blitz was a twist on Capture the Flag. Players had to enter a portal in the enemy base and enter to score a point. This would instantly teleport them back to spawn. The first team to get 16 captures would win the game, with a side switch halfway through. Blitz became one of the 3 competitive modes this year, but outside of competitive, it never really stuck with casuals. So when Ghosts faded out, Blitz disappeared with it. Black Ops 3 introduced a brand new advanced movement system, and this mode existed purely just to show it off. Free Run is a single player obstacle course mode where players run, wall run, and slide through the map to get the fastest time possible. There were 4 maps available, each designed to test a different movement skill. Players could compete on leaderboards for the best times. In the beginning, this was actually a great way to learn the new movement system, but outside of that, there really wasn't much reason to keep playing. It is believed that this mode did later on inspire LTMs like Get High, and with it announced to return in Black Ops 7, it will get a second chance. Black Ops 3 would release another experimental mode called Nightmares, and this one is honestly confusing. Nightmares is a zombies-based version of the campaign. Originally locked behind completing the campaign, it is now available to all players. It includes elements like the mystery box and power-ups. The storyline follows an entirely separate narrative and has no connection to the main zombie storyline, which sounds interesting but creates a problem. It's not a full zombies experience, and it's not really a traditional campaign either, so it ends up not fully satisfying either audience. Heist was Call of Duty's attempt at the tactical shooter style game popularized by Counter-Strike. In Heist, 10 players would compete in round-based matches starting with a pistol and limited money. Players can earn money through kills, revives, and completing the objective, which is to capture and extract a money bag. Instead of dying instantly, players can be downed and revived. Money carries over between rounds and can be spent spent on better weapons and equipment. This gives the mode a slower and more strategic pace than normal multiplayer. But with everything else going on in Black Ops 4, it never really stood out. Cold War introduced multiple new modes during its life cycle, but most players probably never even touched them. VIP Escort is a 6v6 mode where one player becomes a VIP that must be protected while reaching an extraction point. This mode is heavily based on the Protect the President community mode from previous games. Fireteam expanded gameplay to 40 players across large maps with multiple objectives and vehicles. This was clearly Call of Duty experimenting with the large-scale gameplay similar to Warzone, but that's also the problem. Call of Duty had already had a successful large-scale game mode, so Fireteam never really got a fair chance. Cold War's first experimental zombies mode was Outbreak, and this is where zombies started getting ambitious. Outbreak is an open-world zombies experience across large maps. Players complete objectives, unlock upgrades, and choose whether to extract or increase the difficulty. This attempted to shift zombies away from the round-based survival system. Onslaught, on the other hand, was a smaller survival mode that lived in multiplayer maps, but it launched as a PlayStation exclusive, limiting who was able to play this mode for the first year. DMZ was released November 16th, 2022, and this might be one of the biggest missed opportunities in Call of Duty. DMZ is an extraction shooter where players loot, complete missions, and extract, losing everything if they die. It offered a slower, more methodical alternative to Warzone. At the time, extraction shooters were becoming extremely popular, and DMZ actually built a strong player base, which makes what happened next even more confusing. Call of Duty stopped supporting DMZ in 2023, and the mode was also never fully released. Our final one-off mode is Modern Warfare Zombies, also known as MWZ, and this feels like the evolution of everything we've talked about. MWZ combines the open-world scale of Outbreak with the extraction mechanics of DMZ. Players complete missions, explore, and extract in a full PvE environment. There is no PvP, making it a more relaxed experience. It also includes story missions that expand the narrative over time. This makes it one of the most structured open world zombies experiences yet, and honestly, it's one of the best executions of this formula we've had so far. So when you look back at all of these modes together, it's not that Call of Duty is afraid to experiment. Simply either they give up on the mode or the community does.